Satan used is the unknown. Okay, now you have a conscious effort to fight against the spirits who are attacking us daily. And believe it or not, and it's strengthened us to know, they are afraid of us. You notice how through horror flicks and through all the things they show you, they make you afraid of ghosts, afraid of spirit. That's also psychological trauma, so that you can't face, quote unquote, those demons. Like Christ faced those demons. It make you fear them, opposed to understanding how much they fear you. Okay, that's a psychological programming they use to put us in fear of them. All right? So let's go into it. Go ahead.
Verse 2. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
And they took them wives of all whom they chose. Now it tell you in the book of Jubilees that they appeared to these women as their husbands, but in greater form. Okay? In greater form, in greater stature. They made themselves look very, very nice, like their husbands on a whole nother level. Read.
Verse 3. And the Most High said, My spirit shall not always strive with man.
My spirit shall not always thrive with man. To show you that this time, the Most High Spirit was still thriving in the earth, even after the fall of Adam. Man was consciously aware of the Most High. There was no element during that time that the Most High, claiming that the Most High did not exist. The Most High's presence was with men before the flood. But through time and through sin and through partying and doing all the things we do now, people started to believe the Most High didn't exist. Read.
And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man.
Go ahead.
For that he is also flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years.
So the Most High limited the time in which he would give mankind time to dwell in the earth. This was twofold. Eventually mankind would go to an age in which they could no longer live past 120 years, eventually. Okay. And also, he was telling Noah that he's going to flood the earth in 120 years. Mm-hmm. He was letting Noah know a time period. So imagine someone, now at this time, people were living 500 years. Methuselah lived almost 1,000 years. I mean, you would get 200 years, it would be like your body is like 30 or 40. Okay? Even Sarah, in her old age, when she went into Egypt, she was so beautiful, Abraham had to tell them that that was his sister, or they would have fell on him, they would have killed him. And she was an older woman, but her beauty still surpassed all of the women of the earth at that time. So you have to look at what's going on here. The Most High is now punishing man. Imagine if man lived 500 years, 600 years, and their will is just to do evil. Imagine what would be left if they were able to survive with that type of understanding long. But of course, the satanic powers in this earth understands this, so they just take the program and relay it to their children and let their children continue where they left off. Okay? Read on.
Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days.
When you look at the Hebrew, it's Nepalium. There were giants in the earth in those days. Now, there was no such thing as giants before then. To prove to you, something happened with these sons of God coming down sleeping with the daughters of men. Okay? You've all got the precepts when we went into Job 1 and 6 to show you the sons of God who present themselves before the Most High. 2 Peter 2 and 4, when it goes into the angels that sinned and were cast down into hell. Okay? We also made statements to prove, and we're going to prove it today, that the angels bound one of the angels called Azazel under what you would call the Great Pyramid, Giza, in the desert Judea. I'm going to prove that today. So now we understand why the Sphinx is on the dollar bill. The Great Pyramid Giza was not built during the time before the flood. And there's proof of that. There's water recession. It's proven that it made it through a deluge. That's where the angel, when you go straight down to the bottom where a rock is slid in place, that's where the angel Azazel is. Okay? He's the one that it's ascribed all the evil when the angels came down and slept with women. Now, as in the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. You notice in the book of Revelation, it talks about a star falling into the earth, or a star falling, and that's a prophecy. To prove to you near the end, during the apocalyptic time, angels are still falling. Just like in the days of Noah. But they hide it through your news programs with saying Comet Elenin is coming, and this comet or that comet, when it's really speaking of fallen angels, and they're explaining it off with the news program so that we as normal citizens of this world don't understand that these are spiritual phenomenons. If you understood that it was a spiritual phenomenon, you would probably believe in a God. So they use science in their programming box to actually distract you from the fact that you're living in prophetic times. Read on.
Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
And also after that.
And also after that. To show you that even after the flood, that there were giants. Now, the reason why it's paraphrased like this is because we're reading the book of Genesis, which is one of the books of Moses. Moses alone had information of the book of Jasher, also that was laid down to his fathers from Jacob on down. He also was shown the beginning of times and the end at Mount Sinai. So these things are recorded. So he says there were giants in the land in those days and after that. Because we all know that Moses went up against some of the Nephilim on the way to the land of Canaan. So another thing we understand, as the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be, is that things fall, angels' presence are having an authority over man. And also there's Nephilim in every society on a high level to fight against God's people. So these are they that are at what you would call the top of the pyramid. These are they who are controlling the world. We wrestle not with flesh and blood. That's what Christ said. Now when we yield our spirit, and I'm going to go into that, when we yield our spirit to them, that's the only time they have power over us. Finish reading.
And also after that.
And also after that, that means after the flood. Read.
When the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown.
They came men of renown. Read.
Verse 5. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
So now the Most High is looking down on mankind and seeing that they are operating only to do evil. They're going away from the commandments of the Most High. And this influence is actually seeping into his elect, to the children of Seth. So he's looking at this evil. He's understanding that now Satan have a program that will eventually eradicate the woman's seed. That's the fight against God's people before the flood. Read.
Verse 6. And it repented the Most High, that he had made man on the earth.
And we was